Hey there, Kingsley here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into the exciting world of grading color text. I'm here to share not one but two amazing methods that will level up your text game in no time. But before we get started, let me emphasize the importance of choosing the right method based on the desired outcome. It's all about creating captivating visuals that make a lasting impression. First thing first, let's start with our first method. Okay, with this method, we are going to go to the effects on the left side. If it's not selected, please select it. Okay, select the effects, go to titles, and we are going to use the text plus. Drag that to the timeline, and we are going to head to the inspectors. Okay, and go to title and go to the text box and type in whatever we are trying to custom. So in my case, I'm going to use this channel's name, Kingsley 3121. So we are going to be working with this. So we are not going to change the text, but let's make this text a bit bigger. So that way, whatever I do, you are going to see it clearly. So now we've done this, we are going to go to shading. Okay, shading, this is where we are going to change the type, which is down here right below properties. Okay, type, it's on solid, so we're simply going to change the solid to gradient, and that's as simple as that. The first method is really easy. Okay, so now we could change the colors. So we could pick this color. The first one is selected, so it's black. Let's say you want it to be green. We change it to green. And the second one, let's just leave the second one as white. Okay, so now we have a gradient color, and we could customize this to our liking. Okay, so we go down a little bit and we could change the angles. We could make it sideways, we could make it at the corners. Okay, we could play with the angles and just choose the right angle that we like. Okay, so let me go back to default. Okay, so now the mapping size is also a very interesting way to customize your gradient text. Okay, so if I take this to 0, you can notice the sharp line. Okay, so what that does is it fades in the sharp line, so that way it's faded in. There is no sharp line or hard line. So when you do that, it fades in the lines and blends in from one color to the next. Now aspect is also similar to that. Okay, the sharp line is much more visible. When you increase the size, it blends in or fades in a little bit. Okay, so this is how you could use this first method. This is how you could customize it as well, with the angles, with the mapping angles, with the mapping size, and with the mapping aspect. You could customize it to your liking. Okay, and you could also animate the mapping size, the mapping angle, especially the mapping angle. That's a good way to animate your gradient text. Okay, so this is the first method. So let's head to our second method. Now our second method is a bit different. We are going to start. Okay, so with this one, I'm not going to use the text plus, although you can use the text plus. Okay, I'm going to use the basic text on this one. Okay, so let's drag the basic text to the same timeline. I mean, you don't have to use the same timeline, you could use whatever timeline you want. So with this one, we are going to be using two different stuff. Okay, so let's head to generators. In generators, we are going to look for 4 color gradient right here. So we are going to drag this to the top. Okay, so now this is good, but we are going to select the text. Okay, then we are going to change the text and the text box. So we are going to put in the same thing, Kingsley 3121, which is the name of my channel. And okay, let's disable this. And by the way, you could do this before you add your gradient clip. Okay, The reason why I disabled it is so that way you could see the text. Okay, so I'm going to choose the different bold fonts. I'm going to choose this and I'm going to make it a bit bigger. I'm going to choose the size. Okay, so this is good. So with this method, what I'm going to do is to head to settings, and we are going to head down to composite, and we are going to change the composite to alpha. So changing the composite to alpha has effectively maxed this text. So now this text have maxed, meaning there's nothing there, but you cannot see it right now because it's just the text. Okay, so not to worry, we'll show you what happens when we mask the text. Okay, so moving on, we are going to enable this video clip. So now, because the gradient is now on top of the text, it has covered the whole text. So now we're going to select the 4-color gradient. We are going to go back to composite. Okay, we head back to composite, and now we are going to change this composite to foreground. And now the 4-color gradient is now the foreground of the text. So now this is what you get. So this is a different way of doing gradient as well. With this, you could make a different animations from the first method. So depending on the animation that you want to do, that will determine the method that you're trying to use. So let's see the kind of animation that you could use, or let's see the customization that you could do on this one. Okay, so remember, you could go to the generator right here and the inspector side, inspector video generator, and we could change the colors to whatever color that you wish. Okay, and the centers, you can move the centers back and forth, the X center, and this is what you get. But let me keep it as 0. We could do the same with the Y. Okay, but let's keep it to the default. Okay, so all right, so let's get back to setting. This is where we can customize our text, okay, or our gradient text. Okay, so here with the angles, like I said, the angles is usually the best way to animate, the best or the most popular. You could always do your own animation, you know, you got options right here, but the angles is where we can do a lot of cool animations. Okay, so when you do this, you see what happens. As you can see, our text is being cut off at some point. Okay, so we don't want that, so we want to fix that. So how to fix that is to unlink the Y right here just by clicking this. Okay, and we are going to increase the Y. Okay, so let's increase it a little bit, and let's head back to our angles. As you can see, it is no longer being cut off. It is no longer being cut off. So now we are satisfied with that. Let's just do an animation to demonstrate how it is going to look. This is just like a cool gradient animation. Okay, so we're going to start from here. We go to the end, and we're going to go all the way to the end. So let's see how this looks when we play it. So when we play it, we get something like this. That is going to make a cool intro, I believe. That's how to use the second method. Before you decide on the perfect gradient text method, don't forget to consider the animation you want to use. It's crucial for creating an impactful effect. And hey, if this video has been helpful to you, show some love by smashing that like button, and be sure to hit the subscribe button for more content.